Hey you guys, and welcome to Art Club. I'm excited to do our basket weaving project with you all and have more fun with yarn today. So we are going to need our paper plate for this. We're going to need scissors, a pencil, our yarn, of course, a little bit of tape, just a tiny piece, and our needle. So that's what we're going to need. Our first task for this, and once again you guys feel free to pause and rewind this video as needed. That's what it's here for. But our first step is going to be to take the shape of this, so it kind of looks like what, like a flower or maybe a sun with rays. That's kind of what I picture when I see it. And we want to draw this onto our plate. Okay? If you don't have a plate, you guys are actually probably realizing like my plate looks different than your plate because I only had one of the tiny plates, so I'm improvising here, and you might need to too. Maybe you lost your plate, or who knows what happened. But so if you need to, as long as you have some kind of like a thicker paper, like so cardstock, you could use like a cereal box or a cracker box, like that thin cardboard works great for this. But you basically just need a smaller circle. It's about the size of my hand. I would say about what, 6 inches in any direction. Okay, so starting off with that circle, I want to draw this shape onto here. So I'm going to start off with a circle in the middle. And if you want to use like trace around a cup or something like that to get a perfect circle, go ahead. This one's just for practice, so I'm not too worried about it. But a circle in the middle, okay? Now the important thing is going to be you need an odd number of rays. So like if you count this, there's 9. Perfect, that's an odd number. 7 is cool. 5 is cool. 11 is cool. 10 is not cool. 8 is not cool. Okay, we need an odd number. It's going to be really important when we get to the weaving part. So here we go. Basically, I'm going to draw these little triangles that are going to be cut out here. So let's go 1 like that. And I'm going to just space it out where I think it's going to work well. And I'm doing this with pencil just in case I need to change anything. I'm trying to make them all about the same size, you guys, but if they're a little different, honestly, it's not going to matter. I promise you. I've made a bunch of these, and if they're slightly different, no one's going to know. So don't get too worried about that. We just want to keep them similar-ish. Ish being the important part there. Okay, so let's see. So far I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and here's 5. So I can't do 6, right? I'm gonna go for 7 here. So we're gonna divide this one in half. 6 and 7. Now you guys are probably realizing like, whoa, 7's way bigger than 1, isn't it? It is. Now if it bothers you guys, this is, once again, you got an eraser, erase it and go ahead and move it over so they're more even. But I know that if they're kind of close, it's not going to matter. It's okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut out these triangles. So cut them to that center circle. This is important. You can't just make one slit like this or else it's going to end up staying flat. It has to be a triangle that you're cutting out so that as you do your weaving, it starts to bend up in a basket shape. Okay? So here we go, just cutting all those out. And these are so fun. Like honestly, you guys, you can make this out of, once again, paper plates or cardstock or like any of that thinner cardboard. And these make such cute little gifts. I feel like, if you gave this to someone as a gift, they could use it as like a little jewelry holder on their nightstand. Put little candies in there and have them in the living room. Like you could do all kinds of fun things with these cute little baskets when they're done. And they're just cheap and easy to make and kind of meditative and fun too. All right, so now I've got something that looks like this. Reminder, if you're not quite here yet and you need to hit pause, go right ahead. But our next step then, once we're here, is we're going to bend each of those towards the center. So like where the petal or the ray meets the middle part, that circle part, just bend it on in. You can start to see starting to form that kind of bowl shape, right? Here we go with the next one, and the next one, and the last one. There we go. You can tell? It's starting to make a bowl shape. Yay, winning. All right, my next step then is going to be to choose a color of yarn that I want to start with, and then I'm going to need that little tiny piece of tape we talked about earlier. So I'm going to get a tiny little piece of tape, just like that. Nothing too big. And I am going to tape my yarn right inside of my basket, just like that. Okay? The next step then is I'm going to take this piece of yarn and I'm going to put it between those rays, so that the slit that leads to the outside. And from here, now that I've got it out there, it's a matter of over, under, weaving until we get to the top. Okay, so here we go. We're going over. Now it goes under. Over, under, over, under, over. Okay, I made it all the way around. This is why odd numbers are important. If I had an even number, it would be the same. It would go over, under again, and then my basket's not going to work. But because we had an odd number, this time, instead of being over, under, it's under, over. Do you see how it like switched it up? So that's going to hold this together as we keep going around. So now it's a matter of you're going to be hanging out for the next 20, 30, however, you know, it kind of depends on how big yours is and how fast you weave, but you're just going to keep on doing this until you get to the top. Now, I know that some of you are going to want to change colors, right? Some of you want to keep it all the same, but some of you might want to change your colors. So let me show you how we're going to do that. So let's pretend, whoopsies, dropped it there. Let's pretend that I am ready to switch colors. I probably wouldn't this early on, but let's just pretend that I'm ready to switch colors. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this with a bit of a tail. I want to make sure I have enough room to tie on a different color. And I'm going to pick my new color. And all I'm going to do is one of those famous triple knots. Okay, so I'm going to put those two strings together. Sorry, I got to set it down here in order for it to have a place to sit. And as close as I can to that center point, to like the slit in between, I'm going to try to make that knot. Okay, so I've got one single knot, right? Now I'm going to do a double knot, boop, and triple knot, boop, like that. And then I cut off those extra bits. We don't need those on here anymore. Careful that you're cutting the right ones. You don't want to have to start over there. So now it just kind of looks like this. And you can see the two of them there meeting at the seam. Now that I've got my new color on, here we go. Keep on that weaving journey up the basket, and we want to make sure we're keeping enough tension on the basket that as we're weaving and we keep on going, it's going to continue to make that bowl shape. Okay? You don't want to be watching me in this video for like a half hour doing this, so I'm going to jump to the end part. So at the end, it's going to end up looking something kind of like this. You'll notice that the inside is not super pretty right now, right? You can see that piece of tape, you can see the yarn. So what I would do once it's all done is I would take some yarn and I would put a bunch of glue down in here and I would make some cool designs to fill that space in. Or you could take a piece of paper and glue it on top, kind of up to you. But you'll probably want to make that inside area look nice. Okay, but once we are at the end, we're like to the top, this is where we want to then get a really long piece of string or like yarn. Okay, so it's already, we've been weaving with it, so now we're going to take it really long. I think this is probably like 2 of my arm's lengths. It's quite a bit. And what I'm going to do is thread the needle, right, just like we've been doing all week. Thread the needle like so, and then I'm going to take and I'm going to start pushing my needle from the inside, and I'm going to use that top, I'm going to go tuck it under that last piece of yarn that went around, and careful not to hit my finger here, and poke it through. Okay, so that Just went through like that. And I'm going to pull it, pull it, pull it. It's quite long, so it's going to take a second to pull all the way through. Just get that, kind of knotted it there. And it's going to go like that. Now I'm going to loop it around the top again and just keep on doing the same thing. Poking it through and pull, pull, pull. Whoopsies. Pull, 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 pull. Like so. And bring it over the top again. And pull, 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 pull. And I'm going to do that all the way around until I get to the end. That is where, if I'm at the end, we'll just pretend I am. Once again, you guys don't want to watch me do this for 20 more minutes. But once I'm at the end, I'm just simply going to use that last pull to make a knot. I'll probably put a little bit of glue to help hold everything together. And we'll have this adorable little bowl. Look at how cute that's looking already. Love it. Once again, you can fill in this layer here. You could do the bottom too if you wanted to. But there you have it. Thanks so much for hanging out, you guys. I can't wait to see these pictures in the Hall of Fame. Can't wait to see how they turn out. See you next time.